if you are a good digital marketer, when you are doing your marketing, you don't target Google, you target users.
Hi, I'm Monica Carvata with Velocitize Talks. I'm here today with Carmen Domínguez, Head of Organic for Hallam, an award-winning UK-based agency. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the interview.
There's so much we can all learn from you. But maybe we could start with just sharing a little bit about Hallam and what sets you apart from others.
So the good part of Hallam is that we look at marketing from an overall perspective. So when we talk about digital marketing, we don't talk about channels separately. So we look at the whole funnel and we decide, okay, is it where SEO should be now at the top of the funnel? Should we then repeat it at the middle of the funnel? I know that lots of agencies do say that they do that, but in reality, the first time I have ever seen it is happening in Hallam. We work very closely with UX, paid, creative, and creative kind of holds the whole narrative or a brand, and it's really nice to see because it's basically where the whole digital marketing is moving for the future.
Obviously, what's top of mind for many of us this year is AI, and everyone is sort of in a curious place, learning, experimenting. We don't know what we don't know. Maybe you could just break it down a little bit.
So obviously, everyone has gone nuts with the ChatGPT and AI this year. End of last year. But the truth is AI has been here for a long time. It's nothing new. And natural language processing was already released by Google in 2019 when they released BERT, which is, BERT actually is the same technology that ChatGPT uses, which is transformers. And what is transformers? Transformers is a new way of processing language in which a single word only is given a meaning depending on the words that go before that word and the words that go after. So this thing of just understanding one meaning for one keyword is no longer a thing. Now it's the whole context, which is actually giving meaning to the word.
To the words.
And it's not just even in the context of one sentence, it's also in the context of the whole text, which is actually crazy when you think about it, because this is how humans understand language as well. So if you use one word in a sentence, while we are talking in here, when we are understanding that sentence, we don't take only that word, we take the context where we are and all those things. And that's why everyone is so scary with ChatGPT.
Maybe we could talk about SEO strategy more broadly and what you're seeing, what you think is important. I know that it's evolved significantly beyond just keywords and backlinking today. There's a lot more that we should all be thinking about, so maybe you could advise.
First of all, when I do a strategy, the first thing I check is this website foundable by Google? So can Google find it? Mm-hmm. Because if Google cannot find it, absolutely no user is going to find it. So that would be like technical SEO, right? Once that's checked, I'll then go into the content and I look at the content. Is this website writing the content that should be writing? Do they have the authority to be writing the content that they're writing? Because many times you have one website that, oh, my competitors are writing about this, I'm going to write about this. But maybe it doesn't make sense that you write about this because you are not an expert on this topic. And actually, it relates to it, right? You need to be an authority to be writing a topic. And is this content that this website is writing answering the questions of the potential users? Mm-hmm. So then that will be in simplistic ways to have a content marketing strategy, mm-hmm. right?
Right.
And finally, I check at the brand because actually you might have very good website, you might have very good content, but then your services or your products are not very good. So the people need to trust the brand, and they need to trust that other users have trusted the brand and that it actually delivers what they say they're delivering.
So continuing on the thread of search, maybe we could bounce over to local and talk about what's important in terms of localized search.
So if you are based in the US, you're based in Texas, and the search that you're going to look for in Austin, for example, is going to be different to Houston. Is it in Texas? Mm-hmm. Ah, okay, my geography checked.
Yeah.
It's going to be different just because Google is going to consider wherever you search for in your Gmail, wherever you search for in your IP, wherever you search for previously in a context, anything that it has access to, you check in your map. Very, very classic Google Maps, restaurants near me. So all this information is going to be stored, and then it will use all of that with machine learning, AI, to provide the right search for you. So that applies for you in Texas. It will apply internationally as well. It will apply in the sense that if your website, and this is a very common error by every single company that wants to go into another country, even if that country speaks the same language, if your website is only targeting English, but it's not targeting English US or English UK, Google will be like, okay, so this website is not telling me where it wants to go. So I'd rather just look for a local competitor that actually is selling the same thing and serve that one to this person, because this person is going to trust a website that is focused on UK users more than US users, even if your product probably is 100% a match for that user, but because your website is not targeting locally, that is going to have an impact. Mm-hmm. So whether you want to target someone in Texas or someone in the UK, you need to make sure that you set up everything correctly in your website.
It's just an amazing thing to keep coming back to with the EAT checklist. Like, are you trustworthy? Are you a true, genuine authority? And
something that if you are a good digital marketer, when you are doing your marketing, you don't target Google, you target users.
Right.
But there is, when you get into the habit of always making things rank for Google, making your ads better for Google, then you forget about what you really want, which is actually getting your user. Mm-hmm. The closer you think of Google as a potential user, as a person, the more chances you have to actually rank or making a conversion, which is ultimately what you want, right? It just, people tend to forget quite often.
Right. It's actually the people making the search that you want to think about. What is it that they're wanting to understand and trust that you know?
Yeah. It's true. And in fact, most of the Google algorithms updates, they always go to try to keep up with the trends in search, with the trends with the users. Again, the latest products that Google released, like, for example, Perspectives, which was to give more prominence in the SERPs to influencer content or social content, is just a way for Google to compete with users going to Instagram, going to TikTok. And recently, last week, when it finished releasing the latest updates, they released something to make forums more important in the SERP. That's because Google knows that users don't trust websites anymore, don't trust the ads anymore. They want to talk to other users. They want to put questions in Reddit and, is this brand real? Is this brand any good? And then the other users will give the commentary. So they want to make sure that everyone still stays in the SERPs. So again, keep an eye on user trends, because wherever user trends you see, more than likely are going to be replicated in any moment in Google.
Let's talk about search beyond its impact on traffic and taking it down the funnel a little bit farther to what we all want ultimately with conversions. And what are your thoughts on that?
Organic traffic is the most important one, because you're making sure that people are coming to your sites. But then you need to start focusing on the user journey on your sites, the touch points that user has with your content, with the different parts of the websites. And then you need to make sure that that product goes in the end to the cart, and then they buy it, right? So for that, the typical KPIs that I track is obviously organic traffic. Obviously, I still want to track visibility, because I need to make sure that my brand is actually competing with other brands. And to track organic visibility, you need to track the keywords. Again, I track keyword groupings and not keywords. Mm-hmm. But then I split that into brand and non-brand. Non-brand to look into what users are searching for, and brand to see the sentiment around my brand. And then I create my own events, and I like doing that in GA4 now. I like creating the events that I think are crucial for my users to get to the point of buying. So the more complex the data gets, the bigger the picture is of how the users engage with the brand, and the easier it is to make changes. Obviously, this is now beyond SEO, this is more CRO, but the easier it is to make changes in the website and outside the website in social media to get them.
To get them there.
To convert. So, yes, keywords is just a part of the whole process. You need to get really deep into understanding that. Into understanding your user. In the end, again, understanding your user, how engages with the brand to convert.
What do we need to think about with human-centered design and Google Core Web Vitals?
So there are different parts into this.
Right.
It really depends on what you want to do and how much you want to do. And in fact, we're talking a little bit about different platforms for e-commerce. WooCommerce is really good for that one because it allows you to do quite a lot of deep changes that you can track. Like maybe other platforms, it's not that easy to do. But going back to the actual question, you need to make sure that every single time you add an extra plugin or you add an extra a code in the HTML to add machine learning, which is the only way that you can actually track and personalize the whole experience, is not having an impact in Core Web Vitals. Every extra thing that you add to a website means extra time that Google or the website needs to fetch all the content or the data to make it more personalized. And that means more time in that Google takes, therefore lower page speed.
So maybe we could talk about a case study, and I'm going to remember Sonovate, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, that had a really interesting story and results that Hallam helped that you could share.
So in this case, this client had a the website looked really beautiful, and it was actually very nice for users to engage. It was really, really heavy in JavaScript and very heavy in video and very heavy in lots of, how can I say, extra things that made the website really, really slow. And we noticed that the Core Web Vitals were off the roof. Everything was red, red meaning quite bad.
They're in the red, yeah.
Yeah, my report is red, orange, green, and everything was in red. So we clarified with the client that the only way for them actually to perform in any way, and even the only way to get users to sign up with them was fixing that. So that's exactly what we did. We got really creative into looking at all the different parts of Core Web Vitals, and one by one we proposed different solutions to make sure that the site got faster without making big changes. So we didn't change anything in the design. The users were still seeing the same. We just made sure that we optimize everything in the background. So as I said, lazy loads, we minimized the CSS, we made sure that JavaScript was not affecting the content, so Google could find and render the content, and Google could then rank it for the actual keywords, because if Google doesn't find the content, it won't rank it. So it did have an impact in every single aspect of SEO and in every single aspect of conversion from an organic perspective. I think in average, considering the main 3 points of Core Web Vitals, we improve the page speed by 70%, an average of the 3.
Well, maybe we could close out today and you could just share what's inspiring you and what excites you every day right now.
I love testing things and proving Google wrong. That is my favorite thing. And catching up with my team. I have very smart technical SEO people in my team who like testing and things like that. But really, recently, the thing that makes me wake up in the morning is to help a charity that I'm supporting recently, is to support people in Ukraine who are fighting for the invasion. And actually, I'm using SEO to try to raise some money for them. So I'm offering free SEO advice to small companies that maybe cannot afford agencies or cannot afford people. And I'm supporting them, giving them advice in exchange of a donation for my charity.
Well, that's it for us today. Again, I'm Monica Cravata with Velocitize Talks. I've been here with Carmen Domínguez, our head of organic for Hallam. Thanks again for being with us.